Hello, hello, boys and girls. Got a continuation of the video I recorded a few days ago. Vaush made a context video to address the allegations. Spoiler alert, this video is 1 hour and 50 minutes long, and Vaush doesn't address what got him into the drama in the first place until 1 hour and 8 minutes in, which feels kinda weird since this is the focal point. Shouldn't you have covered it earlier? That's the most important piece of context, and you don't address it until almost the end. Most people won't make it that far, therefore most people will watch this video of his explanation for stuff being dug up without ever knowing the most important piece of context. Also, Vaush puts easy stuff into context, like people misusing his clips, but he fails to mention Poppy and what he did to her. Why would that be? Maybe it could be too much context? Or really hard to defend? Who knows? One thing I also noticed is that Vaush says that most of his detractors call him a pedo, when that's simply not true. Vaush calls other people pedos.
None of them called Donald Trump a pedophile. He's literally a friend of Epstein. And the wall is a concept made up by pedophiles.
Most of the people that don't like Vaush call him a weirdo creep. That's not the same thing as a pedo. Well, without further ado, let's put Vaush's context video into context and analyze his defense.
Example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to. What? If folks want to hate you or distrust you or whatever else, it's pretty difficult to convince them otherwise.
Yes, I can agree with Vaush here. This is a pretty common occurrence and you are not going to gain any new fans from this. But this is such a non-argument. People that don't like you won't like you just over a video. People that like you will not suddenly dislike you over something they already knew. No shit, Sherlock. You don't say. The point here is that you had a community that knew about these problems and people outside of your community didn't know what was going on. As soon as you dropped your folder on stream, which you don't mention until 1 hour and 8 minutes in, everyone, even people outside of your community, got exposed to your degenerate behavior. Now, either you shut and move on, or you make a video to address it. You chose the latter. Now, you can't complain.
Example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to. What? Broader community drama. Some folks online have called me a pedophile. Now, this in and of itself isn't actually that noteworthy. With the political climate being what it is, folks are getting accused of being on Twitter left and right. It's pretty common. None of them called Donald Trump a pedophile. He's literally a friend of Epstein. And the wall is a concept made up by pedophiles. But some people have called me this way more insistently and a lot louder. So why?
Why? Because you call people pedos all of the time online without any proof. Now that there are people calling you, it's no longer fun. Remember when you called PewDiePie a Nazi after he linked videos of a creator who was affiliated with Nazi groups? Why won't people call you a pedo for having a folder with lolly and tie? Keep in mind, I don't think that Vaush is a pedo. I think that EDP is a pedo.
Actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake.
Vaush is just a creep. Pedo is a heavy word that shouldn't be thrown around. But you, Vaush, you're responsible for people using this word so lightly. You constantly call people pedo and other heavy words. Now, don't ask why people are calling you that. You reap what you sow. You laid your bed, now lay in it. That is why people call you pedo.
What's with that?
A dragon maid, king of pedophile animes. I'm not watching this shit. What? So...
In fact, and this is going to be a real hot take, I have yet to hear a convincing moral or legal argument as to why possession of child pornography should be illegal. Now, to clarify on this take, as I feel it necessary to do so, we do not, in this country, typically criminalize people who have procured media or resources which were the product of abuse. It is not illegal to own necklaces that have diamonds. All of our clothes produced by sweatshops, our computers with silicon and lithium mined from literal slaves. In our society, we have already deemed that people are not responsible for the mechanisms by which the media they consume and the content they engage with. Ooh, you like that? You like that moral culpability? You're all worse than CP owners, and I am too. Do you like that? No ethical consumption under capitalism. Shit sucks, right? But if we accept that argument for slave labor, then we definitely have to accept it for child pornography.
Yeah, there you go. My dumb goal here was to spark indignant outrage. Obviously, it didn't work. The only person I succeeded in making look bad was me, and that wasn't one of the goals, so yeah, no, pretty bad.
I really got to end it to Vaush here. He's owning up to his mistakes and previous take. It takes a lot of courage to expose yourself and own up to your mistakes, take accountability. This is a move towards the right direction. Comparing owning CP to owning a phone or drinking coffee was just dumb. I get what your debate brain bro tried to do, but you own up to your mistake after all. That doesn't take away anything from my previous video though. The point still stands. The only difference now is that I know that you realize that that's also a dumb take, and this is just one clip. There are just so many clips of Vaush vouching for CP CP. I hope that you are talking about all the clips and not just this one. It's been a constant topic on his streams, therefore there are just so many of them. Can people think you are a pedo because you had so many clips of you vouching for CP? Also, it doesn't take away from the stance that H3H3 took. It wasn't the text definition of a bad faith argument, and you also saw and reacted to your video, something you didn't do and admitted to it on stream.
That's been addressed so long that, I mean, I didn't see it. I didn't want to watch it myself, partly because it would just make me upset.
None of it is, yeah, I agree, none of it is ethical. But we've already made this social decision that people are not responsible for the systems by which the stuff they own is produced. We've already made that decision. You're right, but you're kind of revealing your power level. No, this is exactly what I fucking mean. I'm right, but I'm revealing my fucking pedo power level because I'm right. No, this is a moral inconsistency in society. The answer should be that all of these things are bad.
Hopefully that makes what I was doing there a little more clear, even if the way I chose to do it was really, really stupid. So there you go. That right there, that's the basis of like 90% of the accusations that people make against me. Hopefully I explained it decently, in spite of the Herculean effort I made 5 years ago to make it completely inexplicable.
Basically, until now Vaush has been owning up to his mistake. Good for him. Still doesn't erase the fact that you have a folder full of lolly and or sentai. Those are not 90% of the arguments of you being a pedo against you.
Simulated child lolly stuff.
I think it's pretty sussy.
What does that mean?
I think that if you have an interest in that sort of stuff, you should definitely be checking yourself as to why. You know, like, the thing that really bothers me about this shit, apart from the fact that anytime you want to look at, like, hentai on a hentai site, you have to, like, negate the tag lolly and thus 50% of the site's content. The thing that bothers me is people who pretend there's no relationship whatsoever between, like, drawn lolly shit and actual attraction to children. Of course there's a relationship between those things. Ridiculous to pretend otherwise.
Again, you call people pedo for far less. If your Herculean effort was that big, why didn't most people know about it? I didn't know about it. I only knew it after watching your video, not 5 years ago.
One category of disingenuous accusation that I find particularly maddening is when they're cut from a video in which I am clearly arguing that our society has a tendency to fetishize youth in girls and that it's bad. Here's an example of this exact thing happening live quite recently.
The average American man would be most attracted to? Which hypothetical strip club would be the most crowded if they all opened tomorrow?
I think it would be somewhere
Do you not
from
want to answer
14.
this question?
No, I think it'd be somewhere from 14 to 17. I don't
Which
think
one?
we've changed.
Okay. Wants to 14-year-olds.
Up until now, there's nothing really that important going on. It was Vaush just saying that people were taking his clips out of context, the whole Mr. Girl drama where men would be interested in a club with girls from 14 years to 17 years. He then proceeds to show a clip of H3H3 out of context. Guess that other people are not the only ones making bad faith clips and taking them out of context. Once again, you are taking H3H3 out of context. During his stream, he defended you, he said he liked you, he complimented your commenting and argumentative skills, and after almost 3 hours of watching you being insanely creepy, he said that clip you cropped. Tremendous job at leading by example. You not only tried to defame Ethan by putting him out of context, but also actively tried to ruin your relationship with him. Ethan likes you. He compliments you. Ethan helps you, like you also said previously.
Let me take a jab at someone that I dislike on the internet.
I don't
and make
dislike
statements.
Vaush. That's where you guys are wrong. I said during the video that none of you guys clearly watched. I like Vaush. I think he's a good speaker.
Funny?
Actually, no, not funny, but
Not funny.
I think he's smart and a good speaker.
Oh, jeez.
And some of his videos I've enjoyed watching. That being said, so no, I don't have a vendetta against him, and I liked him before all this shit started to transpire.
It's about them.
I mean,
that
find me
aren't-
saying one mean thing about Vaush before this.
Ethan can also criticize you. It's normal for friends to criticize each other, so you can grow together. If you were a good friend, you'd lay off the hentai, delete your weird folder, and talk to Ethan. Try to start a relationship maybe. Not maul at not having friends when you ruin the ones closer to that. I know that Ethan has bad takes on that same stream and says some insane stuff, but maybe you two can do some growing together.
We've all jerked it to lolly at some point or another. We have at some point in our lives been going crazy on some hentai site, and we've been stroking as hard and fast as we can, and then after we nut, we go back, look over our history chat, and we go like, oh jeez, oh boy, some of these girls looked pretty young. You know, this one definitely sounds rougher than the last two clips, but it's you know, it's a bit, it's a joke, a bad joke.
What part of this is a joke? The part where Vaush was caught 8K with lollies in his folder? Why would anyone take it seriously? Addiction to porn to the point one needs horses, lollies and goblins to get off, it's not normal, nor should it be. It also shouldn't be normalized. This is not a joke. Socialist Vaush makes far more than the average person. He has the means to get help, and this is only what we saw of the folder. Makes one think what else could be in that folder.
It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship, and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well. That is possible. However, categorically, we discourage those relationships because, as a rule, it is substantially more likely that enabling them would cause harm in society. That's the difference between act and rule utilitarianism. An act utilitarian would say, oh, this is an instance where it was good for the adult and the minor to have sex. That would make it a good action. But the rule utilitarian, which is what I am, would say, even though that individual outcome was good, the act was still bad because, in general, in a broader application, for adults and children to have sex with one another leads to horribly destructive outcomes. For that reason, it is an unethical act.
Yeah, look at that. Whoever cut this clip ended it right before I said, but really nasty work. And I clearly don't need the help making myself look terrible. So, all right.
I don't know about everybody. Of course, there are people trying to make bad faith arguments, and you are not safe from it. There are also people that put that clip into context. William McShaw says that Vaush thinks he is so smart that he actively tries to justify for CP just for fun. It's not out of context. Vaush is literally trying to justify for CP. Where is the out of context clip here? Wasn't he trying to justify for CP as an act utilitarian? People everywhere, and in politics more than anywhere, trying to put opponents out of context. Another non-argument. There are plenty people that put that clip into context, much like it happens with other clips he shows.
Yeah, okay, so this one actually is bad, and I've apologized for it a few times. Basically, here I'm doing that thing that guys do where, a hot female teacher will be arrested for raping a student, and the guys in the Facebook comment section will be like, where was she when I was that age? Could have used me some of that.
Vaush again owns up to his mistake. Nice of Vaush. W take. The other Discord DMs shown in this video are out of context, Photoshop, or faked in one way or another, and Vaush explains that. Although Vaush fails to explain his Gecko Discord story, and for a video with the name context video, shouldn't this be addressed? I for sure wouldn't let my gecko jump onto my naked body and lick my lollipop. Other Discord messages Vaush fails to address are the puppy DMs. Could that be because they are not out of context, so there is nothing to put into context? Again, makes one think. The rest of this section is mainly Vaush trying to victimize himself for being a micro-niche celebrity and people putting more Discord messages out of context.
After all that, now we finally arrive at this most recent drama, the incident that lit a fire under Drama YouTube and is, to my mind, the only thing I've done in the past 4 years that actually looks bad. I hit save as, and a half second later, a preview window of the folder and its contents popped up on stream. And now, of course, that folder had porn in it, so I immediately ended the stream and deleted the VOD. And I thought, maybe, in a way, this up would come across kind of charming.
1 hour, 8 minutes and 50 seconds in, we finally get a glimpse of why people are calling Vaush a pedo. It took Vaush, let me repeat, 1 hour, 8 minutes and 50 seconds into the video to address the folder. Keep in mind that this is why Vaush is in so much controversy right now. This whole debacle started because Vaush showed everyone his folder by accident. He calls people pedo and not for far less, yet no one can call him a pedo for having lolly content because it's not funny anymore. Also, Vaush needs to keep in mind that a lot of his content is him trying to defend CP, trying to argue that a club would have 14 to 17-year-old girls jerking off to lollies, zoophilic content, and a lot more of sexual degeneracy. And I mean a lot. It's not 1 or 2 clips. The sheer amount of clips is so big. Don't get me wrong. Vaush's audience knew about all of this, but everyone else didn't. Vaush was in his bubble. But when it got exposed, people started calling him a degenerate freak and a pedo. Is that too unreasonable? Is it pedo? Not to me, no, but this is a whole nother level of degeneracy. So summarizing, For the past 5 years, Vaush tried to defend for CP, jerked off to the lollies, and 5 years later got caught with lolly content. Did he know? He says that he didn't know. Whether that's true or not, that's not up to me to decide.
There's actually a very clear and simple explanation for why, for not just those two drawings, but in fact all the drawings in that folder and all my porn tastes generally. And it's an explanation that is extremely well known and well substantiated. I'm a size queen. I like big dicks. Yeah, I was looking through drawn porn like furry or hentai or whatever else. I saw big well-drawn dicks. I thought, cool, and saved the drawings, then never looked at them again, as evidenced by the fact they are in a big dump folder literally called to be sorted.
This whole argument is so weird and creepy. Just because Vaush is giving context to the folder, it doesn't take away from what it contains. It doesn't take away from the bestiality, from the lolly content, from the gecko stuff, and generally weird conversations on this Discord. The folder is not normal. There's a lot of strange and creepy stuff there. Vaush has a lot of unsorted issues. Dare I say, weird addictions? He has money, try therapy. If it's not for him, try something else. What he had on that folder is not normal. Besides, I'm a size queen is not an excuse. You can be a size queen without being Mr. Hands. Trying to excuse himself as a size queen is no excuse. Look at me guys, I'm so addicted to porn to the point of needing horses, lolly and goblins to get off. I'm so quirky and funny. Do you really think that this type of behavior should be normalized? Makes one think what other images he has on his computer.
So, yeah, that's the long and short of it. I'm sure there are other clips or screenshots or arguments out there that people have thrown into their big anti-me documents, but like I said, I wanted to focus on the accusations that I feel are at least somewhat grounded.
Vaush did a good job at trying to excuse himself, putting stuff into context. It was just that the underlying issues like the porn addiction will still be there. Since he is a political streamer, the debate brain bro will still be there. Vaush thinks that everyone out of his community calls him pedo when most of the people just think he's a really weird and creepy individual, which is not the same. Maybe if we used words with its intended meaning, this wouldn't be a problem, but for someone who throws out heavy words without thinking before employing them, it's good to see someone getting the taste of their own medicine. Vaush also fails to address the poppy drama and gecko stuff on his Discord, which is something that a lot of people also didn't pay much attention to. I think that Vaush already addressed and apologized for the poppy drama, although I'm not 100% sure, but the gecko on his lollipop, that's just outright disgusting.
It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship.
We've all jerked at the lolly at some point or another.
Off is this or that, okay? I'll make it clear. You can write this down. I want to fuck a woman as a horse.
I have yet to hear a convincing moral or legal argument as to why possession of child pornography should be illegal.
Trying to argue there's not actually a relationship between instances of child predation and access to like lolicon. I still think that it normalizes quite negative things, you know. What?
Will Vaush keep only addressing his audience and stay in his bubble? Will Vaush lay off the hentai and lollies and seek help for his porn addiction? Will Vaush stop being a debate bro and shift his streaming to not be so political? Those are just some questions that only time will answer. Let's see how Vaush acts from now on, as opposed to what he says, if he changes his ways and tendencies. But for now, this was me covering the Vaush context video. Leave a like if you've liked the video, a dislike if you've disliked it, subscribe if you are new to the channel and are interested in more content like this. Leave a comment down below if you accepted Vaush's context video and why, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
What is it about anime that attracts Nazis? In this case, it's literally the pedophilia angle. It's that anime has a ton of lolly shit, and a ton of Nazis are hyper insecure in their masculinity, and they want like a trad wife or whatever, untainted by feminism, that they can control and manipulate because they have no other experiences. And anime is perfect for people with that kind of psychosis. What?